Tim May, 97.1 The Fan, and the one and only Tim May show. Yeah. You can hear it all the time, right?
Yeah. So you get it on YouTube especially.
YouTube especially. Chip Kelly is gone. Brian Hartline is the new offensive coordinator. Ryan Day confirms, told me he's going to call the plays this fall. Coach Day says he's earned this opportunity, and he feels that he is ready for this move. Your take on the move?
I like it a lot. I liked it 2 years ago when Ryan first named him offensive coordinator, but, Ryan got cold feet about the situation as spring and preseason went along. But the bottom line is Brian Hartline's been around. He's almost as old as Ryan, but he's been in the National Football League. We know his recruiting prowess. We know he knows offense. He's been quite involved in the passing game development at Ohio State over the last many years, and I think it makes sense. Sometimes it just becomes time, and I think it's time for Brian Hartline.
He was an outstanding player. He kind of came up through the ranks, started with Urban. He learned under Ryan. He learned under Chip Kelly, what a mentor he could be. What do you think the biggest challenge is going to be for Brian?
It is a difference when you step up and now you become the play caller, because you have more on your plate than just getting your wide receivers in the right spot at the right time, et cetera, in recruiting. But the bottom line, he's been pretty much involved with this for quite a few years. I mean, very much a voice in that offensive room. Chip Kelly raved about him when he was here and what Brian brought to the table. But the bottom line is play calling is still, it's not you're just pulling plays, like I say, out of your back pocket. From sometimes maybe you do that, but it's your offensive staff, your head coach, et cetera, they're all involved in developing the game plan for a game, plays you'd like to run on first down, second down, third down situations, et cetera. So he'll just be basically looking at that list and getting a feel for the game and what he thinks is best for that moment. Now, you talk about frying pan into the fire. You open with Texas.
Yeah.
And so that will be definitely what do you want to call it? Test under fire.
It'd be interesting to hear from him, but we assume he'll be in the booth this fall.
Well, who knows?
I guess you can call him from the field. Ryan did that. What do you think?
I think Ryan would probably prefer his offensive coordinator be in the booth, because you get to see the whole picture. You get to have some really, whatever you want to call it, civil conversations with people instead of maybe the drama that goes on the sidelines on occasion and stuff. But we'll see as that develops. I mean, it'll be up to Ryan and Brian.
Ryan, very high on Keenan Bailey, co-offensive coordinator, tight ends coach. What do you think his role is going to be?
What it's been, coaching the tight ends, but also, Tyler Bowen, the new offensive line coach, obviously has great background in coaching tight ends and stuff. But it's just more responsibility for Keenan Bailey, a guy who has proven to be quite the loyal member of this Ohio State coaching staff for almost 10 years now. And we've seen him grow up from like a GA to his responsibilities now. But he will be, involved. Everybody in that offensive meeting room is involved, Dom. You and I sat in on one of those meetings one time, remember? That was being run by Ryan. But they go through they run through quite the gauntlet to get a play on the field.
They also get Tyler Bowen, as you mentioned, out of Virginia Tech.
Yes.
He's going to be the offensive line coach, run game coordinator, but I believe he called plays at Virginia Tech. He's been a coordinator.
Yeah.
How will this shake out? And I don't know. This is another guy that Brian Hartline can lean on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, and the bottom line is they brought in a couple of program assistants to help in that offensive line coaching also, or at least they haven't announced them yet. But that'll be interesting to watch how that whole offensive line room develops. But Tyler Bowen's been around the block, man. And, Urban hired him as his tight ends coach at Jacksonville way back in whenever that was, 2021, whatever it was, Dom. Maybe Urban wants to remember it, maybe wants to forget. But the bottom line, he's been around. He's been at Ohio State. He played. He was a pretty good player. So I think Ryan is trying to get more and more brains into the operation. And Tyler Bowen, I think that was a tremendous hire because he's already proven himself on the recruiting front.
Right. Billy Fessler, Chip Kelly, very high on him.
Yeah, so is Ryan Day.
Yeah, and Ryan's going to make him the quarterback coach. Thoughts on him, and we can expect, you and I both know Ryan, he's going to be involved with the quarterback too, because you're going to have a youngin, whoever it is, they're not going to, they're going to make their first start against Texas.
Yeah. With quarterbacks, you want them, you want a lot of people watching them, but you only want one or two guys really talking to them. You know what I mean? You don't want getting them having mixed messages coming in and going. And Billy Fessler was around last year, obviously, and before that was at Akron, but has proven himself as a capable quarterback coach. I mean, Will Howard, just ask him about him and what he brought to the table this past year when Will Howard emerged as the best quarterback in the country the last 4 games of the year. So, right. And he's working with some clay there. Billy Fessler is with the 3 quarterbacks he'll be working with, Julian Sayin, Tavian St. Clair, and Lincoln Keenholz. So I think a lot of people are going to be watching the development at that position.
Last thing, this is a young offensive staff. You like that?
Yeah, it's interesting because
I think 38 is the oldest, other than, of course, Coach Day.
Yeah, but you've got a mature now head coach, running the show. And you've got guys that have been, like I said, I use that cliche, but have been around the block and been on some good teams and not so good teams. So it's going to be interesting to watch as this develops. I mean, Brian Hartline played football at Ohio State. His first coaching was at Ohio State. Now he's developed into your offensive coordinator. There's nothing wrong with that. It sounds good to me from a resume standpoint. But these other guys are bringing in, like I've always referred to it, bringing in the pollen from, like Tyler Bowen. He's been around the block, and he's bringing in some pollen from some other places to just, sprinkle on what's going to be an interesting offensive line development. And obviously a running back, brand new running backs. Carlos Loughlin, do not discount what that guy brought to the running back room, hired in the middle of the spring last year.
Yeah.
And, man, that might have been the hire of the year.
Great stuff. Tim May, check him out. 97.1 The Fan on YouTube, The Tim May Show.